All right, good evening and thank you. Welcome to the Administration and Public Works Committee. Can we please have roll call for March 27th?
Councilmember Harris,
Present.
Councilmember Newsma,
Here.
Councilmember Reed,
Here.
Councilmember Kelly.
Here.
Councilmember Burns, are you online?
Councilmember Burns is not online.
Thank you. I'm asking for approval of minutes from the March 13th, 2023 committee meeting, AP&W.
Madam Chair, I move approval of those minutes.
I second.
It has been moved by Councilmember Newsma and seconded by Councilmember Kelly. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstention? Seeing none, the minutes are approved for March 13th with no corrections. Do we have public comment? Has anyone signed up for public comment? Nope. All right. None online? All right, we're going to keep it moving. Huh? Maybe we're doing something right. So we're looking at the consent agenda. Are there any items that anyone on the dais or online would like to pull off for discussion at this time?
I'd like to pull off A3,
A3,
A6,
A6,
and A12.
and A12. Councilmember Kelly?
Just A2.
A2. All right, and Councilmember Reed, any?
No suggestions.
Okay, thank you. All right, I will reread the items to pull off the consent agenda. A2, A3, A6, and A12. Are there any other adjustments? If not, I move for the acceptance of the consent agenda minus those items.
Second.
I move approval of the consent agenda.
It has been moved by Councilmember Kelly and seconded by Councilmember Reed. Are we ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Seeing none, items have been moved. Excuse me. All right, let's move to A2. Is there movement on A2?
Madam Chair, I will move item A2, the approval of a professional services agreement extension with Safe Built Incorporated for supplemental plan review and inspection services. Excuse me.
Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. It has been moved and properly seconded and is now open for discussion.
Thank you. I pulled this off. I support it. I'll vote up on this. I just had a question with regard to Safe Built, how much overall, I had a couple of issues in my ward a couple times where Safe Built Services, the gentleman who did the does the review of permitting, doesn't live near here, and he was reviewing something, in two instances, items that were claimed to be replacing something that already existed, and in which case they didn't. So I'm just wondering if there's a way we can ensure that these services, that those sort of errors wouldn't happen, where they would be looking to review and permit something that's, like if it's a fence, that they say we're just replacing an existing fence, but it's not really there, or we replace an existing driveway that wasn't there. He said he couldn't possibly know. So I just am asking if we can, do something to ensure that that doesn't happen.
So I got a question first, but you can come forward. Are you suggesting that they're not doing work that they said they're doing? Or
No,
it's
they're
just
doing the
not
work, but it's just because of the way that the work has been assigned to this third party, because I know our permitting department has a lot of work, so that's why we have this third party, right? And just some of the, and I don't think this happens frequently, but I just to avoid it because it caused a lot of kind of commotion. some of those errors, just to avoid in the future that they aren't assigned maybe the review and permitting of something that needs people, boots on the ground to check out from our staff here. Does that make sense? So I can give you a more specific example if you
Well,
want.
no, if
Okay.
Sarah, do you understand? Okay, so maybe her explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Flax, Interim Community Development Director. Yes, Councilmember Kelly, we are in the process of hiring a plan reviewer, to have one on staff that I think will really address the types of problems you're talking about. Safe Built has very good technical skills, but they're not necessarily working in the community and able to come out at the convenience that somebody who is actually employed here. And that gives us another thing that I think is very important by having a residential plan reviewer on staff is Dean Mosca, who was our longtime plan reviewer, worked incredibly well with our inspectors. So one of the things, because so much of what we do is rehab and additions and things like that, and when you're adding on or fixing something that is not current code, you have judgment calls and a lot of different things where you have to make determinations about what is going to be appropriate between the old and the new. And that's something that really is facilitated by having somebody on staff. So I think we'll be taking care of those issues, and the position's posted right now.
Great. So glad to hear it. Thank you.
So that satisfies you? Okay. So it has been moved and properly seconded. I'm ready to take the roll. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, it passes. Next, A3, approval of a contract with Pan Oceanic Engineering Company for the Green Bay Road Water Main Replacement Project. Do I hear a second?
Madam Chair, I'll move approval of that project, which is bid number 23-14.
Second? Is there a second?
I second that.
All right, thank you. This is open for discussion.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I have a question about the budget and then a question about the contractor that I think would probably be best directed to City Engineer Laura Biggs.
All right.
Members of the committee, my name is Laura Biggs. I'm the city engineer.
Thank you, Laura. So first, a question about the budget, and I'm just catching up with written correspondence here, but the number we had on the budget was much lower than the contracts or the bids came in.
Yes, it was. There was an error in putting this project in the budget, and I'm not exactly sure why that happened, but the budget was at $510,000 when we had an engineer's cost estimate that was substantially higher than that at $1.07 million.
Okay. But, and the scope of this project includes replacing the water main and all of the laterals, the lead pipe replacement.
Yes, on Green Bay Road from Central to Lincoln.
Do we know how many laterals there are?
I don't know off the top of my head.
And this project doesn't include the resurfacing of the street, so we'll have temporary road patches in place until that project. until the
Yes,
road
the
project.
Green Bay Road Street corridor improvements is scheduled for 2024, so
So
will be
next-
for approximately a
Okay,
year.
next year, okay. And the contractor here, Pan Oceanic, is the same contractor who did the exact same work on Main Street 150 years ago. Did good work, but we had some complaints on Main Street about cleanliness and, the wheel loader being, swerving all over the place and getting into traffic and stuff like that. What measures can we put in place on Green Bay Road to kind of ensure that the site is kept clean and everything is conducted safely?
We have had worked with Pan Oceanic on Main Street, as you've indicated, and also previously on the 2020 water main project, which had very similar characteristics to the Main Street project. This is a different project manager, and we have some items in the specifications and in the contract that are tightened up because it is Green Bay Road. It has different requirements for traffic control. And so we have put in some protections, and knowing that it's a problem, we will really work to stay on top of it.
Now, are we going to have a staff engineer on this project, or will there be an engineering contractor involved?
There is an engineering consultant, Kimley Horn, and they will provide a full-time resident inspector. And then we have a project manager on site that will work with that person, Sat Nagar, who also did the Central Street Bridge project, the Howard Street project, the Sheridan Road Bike Improvements project. So he has quite a lot of experience working in downtown areas.
And it looks like we're anticipating only a couple of months of construction here.
Yes, this project, it typically takes 4 to 8 weeks to do a water main, 4 to 12 weeks to do a water main project, depending on what it is. There is some downtime while we do the disinfection and chlorination, but it should be pretty quick. It won't be the entire construction season. We are just doing it in advance of the main construction contract for the Green Bay Road project because it's enough extra time that it would probably lead to not being able to complete the Green Bay Road project in one construction season.
It'll be during the summer, no school.
We are-
Northwestern will be no games or anything, so.
They are not allowed to work prior to June 12th when District 65 is in session. When they will only start work after District 65, they will be required to not be doing construction during graduation for Northwestern.
Okay, great, thank you.
Are there any other questions about A3? No? Seeing none, I'll take the roll. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, this passes 5-0. Next off the consent agenda is A6, approval of a contract award to Worksbeat to provide a shared pool of 80 hours a month, excuse me, of virtual executive assistant services to the council members. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All right,
I'm trying to flick my light on, but
go ahead.
so we have some language that we didn't get it in time for this meeting. So if we can table this one more time, so we can get that language in. And I just also wanted to seek some direction. When do we need to get that in order to make it available for the packet for the next meeting? I know we meet April? Is it 10th? So when do we need to get that to you by?
My agenda closes the Thursday before. Well, when is
Yeah.
it, the Tuesday? We meet Tuesday. Tuesday before.
So the
So I don't know what it,
week from tomorrow.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So yeah, I just
yes.
move to table this to our next, assuming we're going to have another, yeah, we will, APW meeting. So the next APW meeting on April 10th.
Okay. Is there a second on the table? Second on the table?
Second on the table.
All right. It will be tabled until April 6th.
April 10th, I
I'm
think.
sorry, April 10th.
I think we need
You're
to
right,
vote on that, too.
A6 will be tabled until,
We need to vote on that too.
yes. All those in favor?
All right.
All right.
Aye. Councilmember Freed? Okay. Any opposed? Seeing none, passes. It will be tabled until the April 10th AP&W meeting. Next off the agenda is A12, Resolution 30, excuse me, R23, authorizing the city manager to execute a license agreement with Jensen's Garden in Evanston, Inc. Do I have a motion
So moved?
and a second?
Second.
All right, open for discussion.
I don't think the blinky lights are working.
Okay, go ahead, Jennifer. It's okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have some comments on this that I'll reserve until we address this at council, so we don't have to have the discussion twice. I'll be voting no at this point. I anticipate it will pass out of this committee, and we can talk more about it at council.
Okay. Are there other questions? No? All right. Excuse me. So I'm looking for, all those in favor of moving A12? Aye. All those opposed?
No.
All right. Councilmember Reed? I didn't hear anything. All right, that passes 3-1. And I think that's it for our agenda. Are there any questions or concerns?
Holy come on.
All right. Seeing no other business before us, I call to adjournment